Hello, this is Jill Huyen from Homestead Dairy. I brought you to the same pen that I showed you in the first video. They've gotten pretty big. But today I'm going to show you how we take care of the calves through cleaning our auto feeders. The nice thing about the machines is it can automatically clean itself as many times a day as needed. However, I have it set up as 3 times a day for HE cleaning. I have it set up for 2 times a day. It automatically washes the mixer and the lines, and that's nice because it kind of keeps things rinsed and on top of the bacteria buildup. And I think it's really important to set it up what's going to work for you. So every day we go around and we circuit clean manually the feeders. There is a kit that you can purchase for the feeders that allows you to add acid first and then soap, and to help keep it clean. Currently we are just doing that ourselves. So my workers will zero out the machines and put the acid in during the circuit cleaning wash. And then they'll run it again and it will automatically add the soap. It's really important to be careful when doing that because you don't want to combine chemicals. So talking to your dealer to make sure that you have the right setup to make sure that you don't combine the chemicals and cause a problem in your machine and for yourself. In each barn I have 2 houses. In the houses has 1 auto feeder with 4 nipples because they have the Quattro, and it feeds both sides of the barn. In one of the houses I have a bulk tank. The bulk tank does gravity flow to both the feeder in the room as well as the other feeder in the barn. The light that I have flashing up here tells me that the temperature in the bulk tank is over 40 degrees. I just checked a minute ago, it was 41. We had just put it in from the pasteurizing. It's starting to slow down because the temperature is dropping, and then shortly it will be off. But we have visual cues on all of our barn bulk tanks so that we know if the temperature is starting to rise or if something is needing to be checked by our maintenance crew. We wash the tanks 2 to 3 times a week, and we use the Mueller system, so we'll put soap and acid, and it's an automatic setup so that they can wash the bulk tanks. So staying on top of the hoses that I have on the auto feeders is really important because you don't want bacteria to build up. And we have visual cues. We wash these manually every day, so we make sure that we check on them every day. But the other thing I like to do is borrow from Vita Plus the bacteria tester. And this bacteria tester really comes in handy to make sure that I stay on top of things. We have some baselines that we like to keep an eye on, but I'm gonna check a line now just to show you how we do it here. So I'm gonna take this line off here. And you make sure that you do not touch what you're going to test. So we take this little contraption here. Put it in, we crack the top, making that chemical reaction that we need. And while I'm shaking this, I'm gonna turn this on. I make sure that we change our hoses every 63 days between groups. So they have brand new starts when the calves come in as newborn calves. However, if I do see bacteria buildup, or if I go through my testers and our baseline's too high, I will change the hoses if needed. So 50, not too bad. And then this is even prior to doing the circuit cleaning. So my person's gonna come through and do the circuit cleaning, and we will be good to go. So sponge cleaning is really important for us to make sure our milk lines stay nice and clean. So what I do is every week we run the sponge through the system 3 times, and that way we're making sure that it stays nice and clean. So what you do is you go to your handheld, and on the handheld it had a sponge cleaning choice. So I go and hit start, and I automatic terminate, and that allows the machine to go off commission for a minute, and I can run the sponge through the system. So it's saying sponge inserted, and if you have milk in your auto feeder, I do the balancer as well as the milk lines, you will have one of these, and then in here is where the milk line goes. And if you can see, there's no real buildup on here, and that's because we run it often. So what you do is you take your sponge, you push it in, and then you make sure it clicks, because I've been shot many times with with the water as it's cleaning. So it's really important making sure that clicks, and then I hit enter to tell the machine that it has the sponge. And what it's doing is it's flushing the milk out of the line, and then my sponge will be kicked out. Where'd it go? And here's the sponge. The problem area that I found was the sucking sensors. They're a black circular sensor that has a black diaphragm inside. And I found that when I started this, I didn't realize that you had to stop when you cleaned out your machines between groups and clean out those diaphragms. I have a full set of replacement diaphragms that I put back into the sensor and clean out the sensor in between groups. But if I notice that I'm having a little bit of scouring in the pen, I will first check that, because it creates some buildup in the sensor and will just continue to pump out the bacteria. The biggest thing about maintaining these machines is the cleanliness, it's the calibration, and it's just manually monitoring what you see on these feeders. If you see a nipple that is chewed up, you replace it. If you see tube lines, the milk lines that go into the machines, if you see them starting to have buildup in them, you replace them. Although it sounds that we are always cleaning and always monitoring and always doing different things with the technology, what we find is that we really have more time to spend monitoring the calves, checking on their health, checking on their consumption, looking at the data, because we're able to spend less time bottle feeding these animals and more time spending looking at the animals, making sure that they're growing in ways that we know they can,